Chinatown grocer David Chen has been acquitted of all charges against him. We have the details.
Halloween may be scary, but Movember can be worse. And the Toronto Raptors are looking for their first win of the season. Humber News starts right now.
Hello, it's October 29th, 2010. Welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at the North Campus. I'm Crystal Burney. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Romy Levine. Ahead on our show, we'll have your news, sports, and entertainment highlights, as well as your 5-day weather forecast. But first, Crystal has our top story.
All charges have been dropped against Toronto grocer David Chen. Chen, seen here at an earlier court date, was charged in 2009 for detaining and forcibly confining a man who stole plants from his Chinatown store. The judge said police inaction and inattention in the Chinese community has had an impact on his verdict. Chen became a hero across the country by taking the law into his own hands when police wouldn't respond to his calls. The criminal code says a citizen's arrest can be made by a property owner if the offender is caught in the act.
York University students woke up this morning to a fire on the rooftop of an athletic building. Reporter Phil Heidenreich went to the campus and has the story.
Fire trucks arrived to the Keel and Steeles area of the campus early this morning to find fire and smoke on the roof of the track center. Fire Chief Mike Ancio says the fire's severity was downgraded when fire trucks arrived.
Definitely started on the roof, and the roof is quite a large building. There were roofers working and redoing the roof this past few days.
Ancio says at least 12 fire trucks were on the scene to put out the fire.
Well, there was a precautionary third call. The fourth alarm was canceled due to heavy smoke coming from the roofing tire. It looked like a bigger fire than it was.
Firefighters extinguished the blaze at the track building used by athletes from all over the city. York spokesperson Alex Billick says the fire wasn't a major disruption on campus.
The City of Toronto building on the York University campus, and it's a training facility for track and field athletes. So it's an important training facility.
Fire officials estimate $100,000 in damages as a result of the early morning fire. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Phil Heidenreich, Humber News.
Enrollment rates are on the rise at Canadian universities. A new report says this is good for the economy. Overall enrollment increased nearly 4% over the last year. It has increased 57% from 1995. University grads are said to increase the country's productivity and innovation, as well as earning more money. According to a recent study, people with a university degree earn $1.5 million more over their lifetimes than those who only finished high school. The report also says that 7 in 10 jobs now require post-secondary education. It was released this week by the Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada.
Movember, a month formerly known as November, begins Monday. In Movember, men commit to growing a mustache all month long to raise awareness and money for prostate cancer. Movember began in Australia in 2003 and has since raised millions. Australia, Canada, and the UK have raised the most money and have the most participants. Movember is not a not-for-profit organization. The funds go towards awareness programs, research, treatment, and to finding the cure for prostate cancer. To register alone or with a team, go to www.movember.com.
Okay, I'm going to grow a mustache for Movember in November to support people living with prostate cancer.
We always participated in Movember since we came to Humber. We got first introduced to it when we moved into residence. It's good to raise awareness for prostate cancer. It does it in a bold way, and a lot of people ask why we do it, so it's pretty cool. I like it.
After the break, we'll have more news from around the country and the world. Tom Parisi will have your sports update, and we'll take a look at weather with Pam Ball.
Will Mother Nature trick us by unleashing her fury or delight us with a treat? Your Halloween forecast after the break.
And now for a look at what the weather will be like this Halloween weekend. Here's Pam Ball.
The last weekend of October is upon us, and although temperatures will drop below zero over the next few days, we are about seasonal for this time of year. Let's take a look at how the next few days are shaping up. Today's cloudy with sunny breaks. It's quite chilly out here with wind gusts up to 50 kilometers per hour. We'll have a high of 10 and a low of 5. Saturday, partly cloudy with a 40% chance of showers. We'll have a high of 11 and a low of 5. Sunday, Halloween, it'll be quite cool for the most part, but still pretty spooktacular. We'll have a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 6 and a low of 0. Monday and Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 7. Monday's low -1, Tuesday's low -2. Sunday might be a good day to enjoy one last visit to a pumpkin patch. I've got mine here. At least I can say our forecast doesn't look as scary as this. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Pam. Turning to international and national news. Canada's Chief of Defence has apologized to the family of a soldier who took his own life after serving in Bosnia and Afghanistan. General Walt Natinchek said he had spoken to the soldier's mother. The family of Corporal Stuart Langridge said forces failed to help him before he hanged himself after suffering from acute post-traumatic stress syndrome. Natinchek says he also deeply regrets that forces didn't release the suicide note to the family until 2 weeks after his death. Defense Minister Peter MacKay says he was shocked and outraged by the treatment of the family.
Canadian healthcare spending is slowing down, according to a report by the Canadian Institute for Health Information. But it's still expected to reach a total cost of $192 billion this year. The total cost for the average person is around $5,600, while the average annual cost for people over 80 is around $18,000. The top 3 areas of healthcare spending are hospitals, prescription drugs, and physician services. Healthcare spending makes up almost 12% of Canada's gross domestic product, which is more than education and defense combined.
Here's an update on the Indonesian tsunami aftermath. Officials say the death toll has risen to 408 people, while 303 people are still missing on the southwestern island of Sumatra. They say extreme weather conditions are still stalling relief workers from reaching remote areas. The World Health Organization says some aid workers are delivering supplies to towns on foot, since the damage has made it almost impossible to travel to some places by car.
Can a 4-year-old be sued for negligence? According to a Supreme Court judge, the answer is yes. A judge in Manhattan has ruled that a 4-year-old girl accused of running down an 87-year-old woman can indeed be sued. The girl was riding a bicycle with training wheels and was under adult supervision at the time of the accident. The elderly woman suffered a fractured hip and required surgery. She died 3 weeks later. The judge's ruling allows a woman's estate to sue the child and the adults involved.
And now for a look at what's making news in sports, here's Tom Parisi.
The Humber men's soccer team will take on the Mohawk Mountaineers today in hopes of playing for the gold on Saturday. The last time these rivals met, 2 players were ejected from the game and several others received yellow cards. Both teams will be vying for a place in the gold medal game tomorrow at 6. The loser will play for bronze tomorrow at noon. Now the world of pro sports, the San Francisco Giants squeaked into the playoffs this year thanks to great pitching. But looking at the score of the last 2 games, you'd never know. The Giants hammered the Texas Rangers 9-0 last night to take a 2-0 series lead. It was a pitcher's duel until the 7th inning when Rangers hurler C.J. Wilson left the game down 1-0 with a blister on his finger. The Rangers bullpen then walked 4 straight to make it 5-0, and Edgar Renteria hit a solo home run, sealing the game. Giants pitcher Matt Cain threw 7 2/3 innings for the win. He hasn't allowed a run in this postseason in 3 starts. Game 3 goes Saturday at 7 in Texas. And recapping the NHL, the Boston Bruins shut out the Toronto Maple Leafs 2-0 last night. Bruins forward Patrice Bergeron scored midway through the first, and rookie Tyler Seguin scored his first goal at home late in the second for the insurance marker. Bruins goaltender Tim Thomas was solid, making 20 saves for his 19th career shutout. Thomas hasn't given up more than 1 goal in any of his starts this season. The Leafs' next game is Saturday when they entertain the New York Rangers. In other NHL action, the Ottawa Senators beat the Florida Panthers 5-3. The Colorado Avalanche topped the Calgary Flames 6-5, and Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Edmonton Oilers 3-2 in a shootout. The Toronto Raptors are looking for their first win of the season tonight as they face the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Raps lost their home opener to the New York Knicks on Wednesday, their first game without Chris Bosh. But Raptors fans at Humber still believe the new-look team can stay competitive this season.
It's kind of tough to say. Ever since we lost Chris Bosh, I mean, he was a big all-star, and it's going to be tough to fill that gap. But I also believe that it gives Andre Bargnani a chance to step up.
We just don't have any other players, period. There's nobody else, no supporting cast. Even if Chris Bosh was here, he wouldn't have done anything.
They don't have they don't have a key player they have to focus with. They're going to be focusing on teamwork, and I think teamwork is the key thing on basketball.
That's all for sports. Now back to Romy and Crystal in the studio.
Thanks, Tom. After the break, we will have your entertainment update with Natalia Bouya.
Coming up in entertainment, a gripping documentary about Omar Khadr, zombies take a bite out of AMC, and actor Randy Quaid flees to Canada from Star Whackers. All that and more after the break. I'm Natalia Bouya, and here's what's making news in entertainment. The dead will rise this Halloween. AMC's newest television series, The Walking Dead, premieres this Halloween Sunday. The series is set in the aftermath of a zombie apocalypse and follows County Sheriff Rick Grimes' fight for survival. Grimes, who is played by Andrew Lincoln, awakes one day after a coma to find himself in a world infested with zombies. There are few survivors, and Grimes' own family is missing. The Walking Dead is based on a widely popular series of graphic novels by comic book genius Robert Kirkman. The show premieres with a 90-minute episode at 10 p.m. 6 days after giving birth in a Florida hospital, Celine Dion has finally named her twin boys. Their names are Nelson after South African President Nelson Mandela, and Eddie after her late songwriting partner Eddie Marnay. The 42-year-old singer and her husband also have a 9-year-old son named Rene Charles. Actor Randy Quaid claims numerous actors he's worked with in the past, such as Heath Ledger and David Carradine, have died mysteriously. Quaid and his wife are seeking refugee status in Canada, and in a meeting with reporters in Vancouver yesterday, he made the suggestion that the actors were murdered as part of a Hollywood conspiracy. The couple are hoping for permanent residency in Canada in order to flee from what Quaid calls Star Whackers. Wherever the two end up, they have to return to Santa Barbara on November 2nd for a court hearing on felony and vandalism charges. Captain Kangaroo star James Wall has died at the age of 92. The actor who played the captain's neighbor, Mr. Baxter, was the first black character to appear on the children's show when he made his debut in 1968. Wall passed away in New York after battling an illness. A Canadian film about Khadr's time at Guantanamo Bay is now screening at Royal Cinema in downtown Toronto. You Don't Like the Truth, 4 Days Inside Guantanamo features footage from 4 different days of Omar Khadr's interrogations at the infamous prison. The directors will appear at the screening tonight to answer questions about the film. That's all for entertainment. Now back to you in the studio.
That's all for Humber News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Crystal Burney.
And I'm Romy Levine. Humber News is produced by journalism students at the North Campus. Have a safe and happy Halloween. We'll see you next time.